If you've ever wondered why gambling feels impossible to walk away from, it's not just about the money. There's a deeper pattern running the show, one that pulls you back again and again. And here's the thing. Most gamblers fall into one of three hidden roles. And once you uncover the role you've been stuck in, everything about your gambling starts to make sense. And more importantly, you finally see the path to break free. I'm Steve Rose, and for almost a decade, I've helped countless people struggling with gambling addiction. And what I've learned is that people don't all gamble for the same reason. Back in 2002, researchers published what's called the Pathways model. They discovered that problem gamblers tend to fall in three categories, each driven by different forces. And in this video, I break down each of these three pathways to problem gambling so you can see which best explains your situation. And to illustrate the Pathways model even more vividly, I've given each pathway a corresponding Jungian archetype so you can get an even clearer picture of why gambling pulls you in. So let's get into it. The first type of problem gambling can be characterized by the archetype of the magician. Picture this. The dealer slides the cards across the table. The reels slow to a stop. The scoreboard flashes in front of you. And for an instant, it feels like pieces are lining up. Like you spotted the secret others can't see. One more move, one more bet, and you'll finally crack the code. That feeling is powerful. Gambling gives you something intoxicating. The sense that you are in control, even when everything else in your life feels unpredictable. Every near miss feels like proof you're getting closer. Every ritual, every system, every hunch convinces you that you're about to magically bend chance to your will. Researchers call this the behaviorally conditioned pathway to problem gambling. You don't need a history of trauma to get here. The games themselves pull you in. The random rewards, the near misses, the illusions of control that condition your brain to keep playing. On a deeper level, the magician archetype longs to master hidden forces, to transform chaos into order, to hold secret knowledge no one else can see. And in the casino or on the betting app, that part of you comes alive. But here's the trap. The more you try to control chance, the more chance controls you. The magician ends up caught in their own spell, deceived by the very magic they thought they were wielding. But this archetype also carries a gift. And in its healthy form, the magician is a transformer, an innovator, a creator, a problem solver. The same energy you've been pouring into chasing patterns in gambling can be redirected into mastering what's real, your habits, your skills, your relationship, and your future. Because that's where the real magic is. For the magician, recovery means rediscovering competence, the kind that's earned, not imagined. You start small. One routine, one promise kept, one action becomes proof that control isn't found in luck, but in discipline. And the part of you that once searched for hidden patterns becomes the master of visible ones, your habits, goals, progress you can actually measure. There's a quiet power in this kind of mastery. No illusions of control, just consistency. But not every gambler is chasing control. For some, it's not about cracking patterns or mastering the odds. It's about escaping something far heavier. While the magician looks for power in the game, others are searching for comfort, for relief. And this brings us to the next archetype, the lost child. Picture this. You slip into the game, and for a moment, the noise of the world fades away. The stress, the loneliness, the memories that won't leave you alone. They all fall quiet. As the reels spin or the numbers roll, it's like you're wrapped in a cocoon where nothing can touch you. That's the pull of this pathway. Researchers call it the emotionally vulnerable gambler. Not for glory, not for strategy, but for escape. Mindless games like slot machines are appealing to this type of gambler, where repetitive spins induce a trance-like state where the weight of the world melts away. The lost child archetype longs for safety, for connection, and comfort, often escaping pain rooted in childhood wounds. Gambling becomes a substitute caregiver, always there, never judging, never asking questions. It feels like a safe room you can retreat into when the world feels too heavy. But here's the trap. The safe room becomes a prison. The very act that numbs the pain creates more of it. Debt, shame, secrets, and deeper isolation. The lost child longs for comfort, but ends up more alone. Yet, this archetype carries a hidden gift. In its healthy form, the lost child becomes the resilient survivor, the one who knows suffering and uses it to connect deeply with others. When you step away from the game, the same part of you that craved safety can build real belonging, through deep healing, through community, through practices that soothe without destroying. And the underlying wound, once healed, becomes your greatest strength. The capacity for deep compassion. For the lost child, healing grows through relatedness. The rediscovery that you were never meant to do this alone. And at first, reaching out feels unnatural, like sunlight after years underground. But through every honest conversation, the walls begin to soften. You start to feel seen, not as a failure, but as human. Connection becomes your new refuge. The silence that once swallowed you is now filled with voices that understand. And in that warmth, you finally remember what safety feels like. But not everyone turns to gambling for comfort. For some, it isn't about soothing pain or finding a cocoon at all. It's about intensity. It's about pushing the limits, breaking rules, and feeling alive. While the lost child seeks safety, this next archetype heads straight into danger. This is the archetype of the outlaw. Picture this. The bet goes down, your heart races, and suddenly, you're alive. The rules don't matter here. Limits don't matter. It's just you, the risk, and the rush. And for a moment, you feel unstoppable. This is the third pathway researchers call the antisocial impulsivist gambler. Unlike the lost child, they're not primarily gambling for the numbing effect, and unlike the magician, they're not primarily gambling to chase patterns or a sense of control. The outlaw is driven by something entirely different. Impulsivity, risk-taking, and the need to feel meaning through living on the edge. The outlaw archetype rejects boundaries, thrives on danger, and defines itself by breaking rules. Gambling becomes your frontier, the place where you test yourself against fate, chase intensity, and prove you're different. But here's the trap. The more you rebel, the more the game owns you. What started as freedom becomes chains. The outlaw ends up enslaved in the very system they thought they were defying, buried by chaos, broken by risk. Yet, there's a gift in this archetype too. In its healthy form, the outlaw is a pioneer, a change maker, a force that challenges what's broken and dares to create something new. That same drive for intensity can fuel adventure, entrepreneurship, creativity, and social change. The same energy that once led you into destruction can be the same energy that helps you build a life that feels truly alive without gambling. Recovery means reclaiming autonomy, the power to steer your own story. You still crave intensity, but now it's guided by purpose, not impulse. You stop gambling to feel alive because your life itself becomes the adventure, chosen, owned, and lived on your terms. In the end, recovery isn't about tightening your grip. It's about remembering how to grow. The magician, the lost child, and the outlaw each show a different way the human spirit reaches for light after living too long in the dark. Because beneath each addiction lies the same three roots: the need for competence, relatedness, and autonomy. When those roots are starved, the soil within you begins to crack. And in your thirst, you turn to salt water. And for a moment, it wets your tongue. But salt water can't sustain you. The more you drink, the drier you become. Real recovery starts when you stop chasing the illusion of relief and start tending to what's real underneath, watering your need to feel capable, connected, and free. And slowly, the ground softens, fresh water returns, and life begins to move again. As Carl Rogers taught, growth doesn't come through force. It comes through nourishment, because you don't put a seed in the earth and command it to rise. You offer it warmth, light, and space, and it reaches upward on its own. Recovery works the same way. When you care for what's alive within you, the thirst for gambling fades like a tide withdrawing from the shore. And what remains is quiet, steady growth, life reclaiming itself. If you want to go even deeper and discover which of these patterns fits you best and how to start nourishing real change, take my free assessment inside my recovery roadmap at the link below. You'll get personalized guidance on how to rebuild the roots, feeling capable again, reconnecting with others, and reclaiming your freedom. Because recovery doesn't start with just willpower. It starts with nourishment. So let's take that first step and start growing again.